Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you. Today we are working on the Mark V Jetta with the 2.5 liter. We are going to work on getting that USP cold air intake properly fitted to the short runner intake from Integrated Engineering. It's already in there temporarily. Pop the hood, show you guys. It's kind of also new shirt. Check them out, links in bio. It's in there. It's mounted up, everything. When we get on the other side, I gotta get the right side of the vehicle, or the left side of the vehicle up in the air. Driver's side, sorry, I'm looking at it this way, so it's on my right. But driver's side up, pull the lower fender liner off, kind of show you what's really going on and how it's kind of in there, but not in there. So it's not a direct bolt-on with the short runner intake manifold because the throttle body does move from the factory position slightly. I'll show you what's going on. Don't mind my messy garage. I know, I got a lot of cleaning to do. But we're getting ready for track day. So February 8th and 9th, be out at Podium Club doing a track day with the Jetta, starting the 2025 season. So pretty excited. Got most of the stuff done that I need to the car. So now this is just kind of tweaking it and getting it how I want. So it's properly mounted. It's in there and it's fine and I could run it, but it's not the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, let's get under the car and I'll show you what's really going on. So this is the inlet side, obviously. You got the filter with the sock there. I don't know if you can see the bracket. It's kind of tucked up there. It's a little pressure on it. I tried to get this filter up on the tube as far as I could. The tube's just a little too long with the throttle body being repositioned with that intake manifold. It's on there the best I could get it. Had to cut a little hole out of the lower fender liner there. So a little hole cut out because the filter was actually pushing on it here, and that's a rise in it because that's a little duct to kind of go towards the brakes and everything. So that's a little cut out. I do have the piece. I cut it in one piece, so I do have the piece. When I get this all situated, I'm just gonna tape that piece back up and it's gonna be like it never happened. It's just gonna be some tape on it. That's the bottom side. Top side, hole and everything lines up going through there. So there's not really an issue on the top side other than your one port right here, which I have my catch can routed to from the AS1 catch can. Sits directly above the upper coolant line, so it's almost touching. I need to get that rotated because it's pointing straight down and it's right above the coolant line. If it was on the factory manifold, it would just be clearing it on this side. It would just be clearing the coolant line, so it wouldn't be an issue. So, face high. So that being said, I do have a plan to get this thing all, I think, situated. I bought a couple of 3-inch hoses, silicone couplings. I'm going to cut that so I can twist the top part. I'm just going to twist it where that inlet is. Basically, clean cut there, use the coupler. I'm going to twist that, get it angled right so it's just shooting straight back towards the catch can. And then on the angled part going down, I haven't finalized my plan yet. We're going to do one cut at a time just because buy a cold air intake and then you got to cut it up. But this was me doing an experiment just because I wanted to get the filter out of the engine bay where it's drawing in cooler air in. Since we're going to the track and we're running 20-minute sessions, I want to try to reduce the heat soak so I can keep my IATs down as long as I can throughout the session. Worst case scenario, I just throw the Integrated Engineering intake back on. We're going to try to make this one work. So I'm going to cut a section out of that angled down slope to try to bring that filter back up. Everything should still clear. Haven't finalized this yet. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to do one cut at a time. We got to get that thing angled so it's not putting any pressure on the upper coolant hose. That way it's just a direct flow to the catch can. I also bought a new 180-degree fitting for the back of the catch can, so shouldn't be any kinks or anything in the hoses, and everything will be more how it's supposed to be. But we're going to get this thing out and start coming up with a plan and working on it. Got the intake piping off, got it here on the bench. So my plan, since this basically needs to be 90 that way or a little bit more, if I do a cut right about here, I can put this silicone sleeve on it and that'll give me free rotation of this so I can line it up exactly how I want. And then none of these bends will be affected going down into the wheel well. I've just got my little exhaust pipe cutter here. I think this is a Maddox brand. I found it at Harbor Freight. That's what I used when I cut the exhaust up when I welded in the cherry bomb on the car, little 8-inch muffler that I welded in here. So I was actually surprised how well that cut. This does have the wrinkle coating on it, so I'm gonna try to start it slow at first just to kind of get a nice cut on the wrinkle coating and reduce the amount of stuff that's gonna chip off. I know some of it's gonna chip off and crack and probably ruin that a little bit, but that's gonna cover it up anyway. So we're gonna make that first cut, get this piece back in the car, and then we're gonna try to work on the rest of it to get the rest of it to line up and get that filter sucked more inside of that fender so I can close up that hole and not have it basically exposed on the undercarriage of the car. And if it were to rain or go through some puddles and stuff, we don't want to be picking up any extra moisture. I do have the hydro sock on it, but having it exposed like that and going through puddles and stuff, I do daily drive this, so it's not like I can totally avoid it. Definitely want the fender liner closed off around it so I'm picking up least amount of water exposure as possible. So we're gonna get this thing started, make that first cut, kind of see how it goes, cutting this piping with the wrinkle coating on it. So I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Ta-da! So I'm actually surprised. This cut it pretty good. Coating held up pretty good. I'll just have to deburr it on both sides. Piece cut through pretty good. I'm actually really surprised how much or how well this cutter does. So if you're doing some, you know, just a little bit of exhaust work or just cutting some tubing like this, just get one of those. It doesn't take much effort. Those wheels cut through pretty good. You just gotta kind of go back and forth a little bit. So I'd say that's not too shabby. Now that this piece is free, we'll have the coupler on either side of it, one on the throttle body, one going to the rest of the intake, but I can angle this inlet exactly where I want it to route the lines to the catch can. So that'll be good. We'll get this piece in there and go from there. Just gotta get this thing deburred real quick on the inside here. And then we can put it back in the car and start lining things up. All right, well, that's step one done. Got the pipe cut, was able to rotate this, different size piping than the adapter I had, so just a reducer there, but then 180 going into the catch can. So this is the exit of the catch can. You got both your inlets there. One exit to the intake, runs off a vacuum. This tightened down. This one I still left on loose, but we gotta work the rest of the pipe. Gotta figure out where I'm gonna make my cuts now, so we gotta dry fit the pipe so I can figure out exactly what I wanna do. Good news, I think, with that one cut right there, not only am I allowed to rotate this piece to get my catch can line situated properly so it's not rubbing on the upper radiator hose, it also gives me freedom to rotate this piece and there is plenty of gap down where it goes through down into the fender. So I think by pushing the filter on as far as I can and the freedom in this, I think I'll be able to get the fender liner on without doing any more cuts to the tubing. So it's kind of sagging right now because it's not secured properly. I also flipped the bracket. Don't know if you can see, so the bracket's going up. I might have had that wrong the first time. That might have been my bad on the bracket the first time. I had the hook hanging down, and then the filter would go right up next to the hook. And so now I put the filter, or the hook going up, so that clamps it up more on the curved part. So I get a little bit more movement pushing the filter on farther. It's not gonna affect flow or anything of that filter. That filter's oversized, especially compared to the integrated engineering one that comes on their short ram, which they claim, I've talked to them on that integrated engineering one, they claim that they have plenty of airflow through that tiny filter that it comes with. This thing's like triple the size of that. So blocking out, having the tube go farther down into the filter, it's still gonna be able to breathe perfectly fine and have enough for this little NA motor running 5 cylinders. So I'm gonna get this stuff all secure and see if I can get that lower fender liner in and not have to do any more cuts. I think that should be good and everything will be covered up. Let's get this all tightened down and see if we can just one cut this thing and have the movement to rotate stuff that we need and get everything lined properly. Wrench time. I don't know if that light's helping or not, but why not? If I wasn't filming, it'd be so much easier. I had to do that off camera. There's no way I was getting good footage. You just see my arms. I couldn't see what I was doing. And rip the glove. Camera autofocus on this thing is terrible. Anyways, got that tightened up off camera. Both of those clamps in there are all tightened up. The one to the bracket and then the one holding the filter on. That filter is just about up as far as it'll go on that pipe until, because it's hitting the bend there and it's also hitting the other clamp. Got a lot more gap below it now, so it should clear that little tunnel that comes up right there. Should be pretty good. Should be up high enough. We'll get this lower liner in there, or everything's tightened on the top side and the bottom side here. So if I get this liner in, we're good to go. We can just put it back down on the ground and crank it over, make sure it works right. There's that little piece. Wow. There's that little piece I cut out. You can see the hole there. Just gonna clean it up. Tried to get it back on there best I can. Gloves hate me today. Good old Gorilla Tape should work, eh? Not like we're in a Formula One race where we need a 200-mile-an-hour tape. Tape feels a little lackluster at the moment. Oh yeah, a few layers of this, that'll be good. All right, got this thing all taped up. Not perfect, but not bad. It ain't going nowhere. Like the hole was never there, except for that giant crack right there. Don't worry about that guy. We don't talk about that guy. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna get this thing back in. Hopefully it clears. It looks like it will. I got a lot more room than I did before. We're gonna throw the lower fender liner back in, and hopefully that one cut and rotation on the intake made everything happy. And flipping the bracket. Could have been me. Could have not been me. I don't know. I just put it in the way I saw fit the first time. But I had to do that cut for the catch can anyway, because, you know, we don't want to rub through a upper coolant hose and, you know, coolant everywhere on the track and overheat and head gaskets and all that's not fun stuff to do on really any motor but the 07K. So, yeah, keep going. You know, just a little update. Oh, and I haven't done a video on it yet, but this has GTI brakes on it all the way around now. GTI calipers, carriers up front, EBC red stuff pads, EPC rotors all the way around, and then the rears just have the carriers with the factory calipers, but you get the larger diameter rotor. Why don't you just watch that while I put this lower fender liner in. Stay focused on the brakes there, and yeah, enjoy. I want gloves again. All right. Question time. When you're working on your car, are you wearing gloves? Or are you bare skinning it and using some of that magic soap to get all the grease and oil off when you're done working? Leave a comment down below. Gloves or no gloves? Fight in the comments. I want to hear it. Oh yeah, like a glove. Kinda, if I would just get it layered properly over here. That's my fault. You gotta get around everything and on top of everything, behind everything. If you have the upper liner out, it's easier. Otherwise, you're gonna be like me and fight it. Suck it, nerds. That's not even touching the filter anymore. Of course, it's not in all the way. Just flexing 15-year-old plastic, it's fine. How did I manage that? You're not supposed to be there. I line up everywhere. Sweet! Button it up! Love it when a plan comes together and it's easier than you thought it would be instead of harder than you thought it would be. This is gonna be one to edit for sure. Holy moly. Whee! You ain't dropping your tools, you ain't doing it right. Oh man, look at that. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Also, hi, just an FYI, don't work with your car just on a jack like this. Keep it properly supported on jack stands or quick jacks or something that's, you know, stable and not gonna collapse on you. I trust this Daytona jack and I knew this was gonna be a quick job, but don't do what I did. I'm an idiot. So yeah, I just make YouTube videos. Don't copy what I do, except for some of the actual mechanic work, but yeah, be safe. It's so much easier with studs. Gosh darn European cars using lug bolts. She's on. Just had to make that one cut, give me the rotation that I needed to get all my fittings lined up and get that air filter out of the way of the lower fender liner. She's all buttoned up. I know this wasn't my normal style video, but let me know down in the comments if you like this kind of style better or if you like my more straightforward, just step. More stuff coming. 6-speed swap videos are coming. As well as some racetrack stuff. So I've done a lot to this, getting it ready for the racetrack and stuff that I haven't necessarily done a video on yet. GTI brake upgrade, Audi TTRS crank pulley with the Boost Brother Garage lipped idler pulley. I did convert it to wheel studs instead of using the lug bolts. So it's on studs now, which would be a little bit stronger. Those are from 034 Motorsports, 034 Motorsports. So huge shout out to them. This thing's gonna start ripping in 2025 at the track. So more track videos coming. More just everything coming, including the 6-speed swap stuff. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this video. That is the USP cold air intake on the integrated engineering short runner intake manifold. Since that does move your throttle body out of position from the factory position, it's not a direct bolt on. I would say I probably could have done a better job the first time and made it work a little better without cutting that hole in the lower fender liner, but you still would have had the issues with the plumbing for your catch can or your PCV valve system. Either way, you're gonna have something going to the intake there, and it's just right on top of the upper coolant hose for the radiator. One cut, rotate everything. I'll leave links down to everything below, but that 3-inch coupler, the silicone coupler with some of those T-style fittings, she's looking a lot better. She's all cleaned up in properly, so I'm excited for that. So leave any comments you have down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, I will see you in the next one. So far, 2025 has been just about a video weekly. I know I probably missed maybe a week in there just because some of these videos take longer to edit. We're trying to get back on track in 2025, and we're trying to have more fun with the 07K Jetta that is 6-speed swapped and has all the goodies on it. Hit that subscribe button, like the video because you know you did. Leave a comment down below, and as always, I will see you in the next one.